Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world of Wayne. Something different from build-up models today, although this is still a build-up model. If you remember, a few weeks ago I did the marble run by a company called ROKR. You could get that through Robotime, and I've actually just put the link down here. And if you haven't seen the video of that, I've got a playlist for that. I've put that up here. I was so impressed with that, I went and got myself something. This is a passion project for me, this is. This is their version of an Orrery, and it looks just like this. And we're going to start building that today. So it's probably best to just keep this here at the moment to explain what happens here. You've got a little crank here that when you wind that round, the gears are going to make the planets move in different ways around the central sun here. And I've loved an Orrery. I've been fascinated by space, astronomy and everything since I was a kid. And that's why I wanted something like this for myself. Now, I did try and build an Orrery about 10 years ago. It didn't go to plan. So today I'm going to start that and make sure that I do this one to fruition. But once again, if you want to get this for yourself, I've put the link in the video description. You can build alongside with me. But without further ado, let's get cracking. Now, I haven't opened this myself yet, so when I see this, this will be the first time I see this as well. So let me just cut the tape from the start. As a matter of fact, you're going to be the first person to see it, because I'm going to open it this way. And there you go, there's everything you get in here. Now, just like the marble run, it looks like it's all on bits of wood here. That's how many bits of wood there are. They're going to be labelled A, B, C, D, E, F. So we need to find out which one from the instructions we're going to need for each stage. But that's all the wood. As you can see, very big this is going to be, but that looks like that. We've got the all-important instruction book and a sanding stick, which we need to just get rid of any burrs on that wood. Looks like here we've got the pack of planets. We could add some more detail to that. I might actually paint a little bit of land on the Earth and perhaps Jupiter. Might put a few lines and a ring of Jupiter in there. But there we go, there's the planets. Could even put a little ring around Saturn, I guess. It's crying out for a mod, that one. Got some PVC tubes, not quite sure what they're for. Screws. This is our sun, looking like that. Quite a funny material. It is actually a little bit translucent, that one is. So again, I could probably put a bulb in there, you know. We've got a motor. I'm already thinking about modding, and it's the first thing that I've opened up. And again, more screws. And it looks like we've got some washers there as well. So I've zoomed up the instructions just to show you what they're like. Just like all of these builds, you get a full inventory of all the parts that we should have for this. There is an LED light in here already, so that's already lit up by the look of it. That's the first thing I noticed. And then basically, we've got a couple of tools that are going to help us along with this build here as well. And it's just basically telling us what plates we've got to go through first, what bits we take off, and we start building it to the instructions like this. The instructions are pretty comprehensive, so it's not going to be an issue building this. It is going to take a while to build though, so I don't know how long this is actually going to take, but by the time we've finished, and we're still turning up to page 38 at the moment, at page 42, that looks to be the end of the build there. So that's what it's going to look like. Pretty impressive. This is going to look great on my living room, which I've been told I'm allowed to have it in the living room, not above the TV, but I can have it in the living room. So let's get cracking on this. Now, before I start this, I'm looking for panel E. Oh, things are dropping out already. Because on panel E, which is this one here, there's a tool that I need on here. Just try to find it. It's this one here. I'm just going to break that one off now, because this is what I need to put some of the gears in place. Looks just like that. Okay, bringing the instructions over, the first thing I need, as you can see here, is a little bar, which is 20mm. Now, they're all in this bag here, and the good thing is these are to scale. So if I get out one of the smaller ones here, and measure that on here, as you can see, that one's too big, so it's not that one I need. I'm guessing it's going to be that one. There you go, perfect. I'm also going to need these gears here, a circular section there, and then this large section here. Couple of washers, so I'm going to get all of these parts out for the first stage. So in this bag here we've got some little clear washers. These are P1, so I need two of these. E26, which is a large cog, which is this one here. Get this off. B14, which is a small disc, just looking for that. which is here. E3, which is this large plate here. As you can see, I've got some bits inside here which I'm going to have to keep safe. Get this one out. And I'll take all of these innards out and keep these safe. These are all the same part, but I don't need them at the moment. Then I need another couple of these washers just to hold it into place. Now, as you can see, we've got markings on there. So that's the printed side. That's the unprinted side. It's the printed side I'm going to want up. Now, this is why we have the sanding stick. They've also provided us with a little bit of sanding paper that we just want to go round, and if there's any rough areas, just get those off. And the other thing to do, just with a bit of preparation, is on this cog here, get some wax. It does come with wax, but I'm using the one that I used on the previous one here because I can get it right down into the parts here. And just wax up these teeth. It's going to help to glide this along later on. Just making sure there is a coat of wax on every tooth there. That's perfect. That should help. Just lubricate that up just slightly before we put this together. So I've already put 2 of the washers on this post here. What we're going to do is put this through this one first. Then the plates, making sure that the print's facing upwards. Then that's going to go into the hole just at the bottom here. Turn it over, push it down, and then put the other 2 washers just on top here. So that's 1 and 2. Then use the tool here just to push that completely into place like that. And there we go, we've got the first gear in place. I can put that to one side, and I'm going to bring over the motor now, which is here. This is labelled as ST0012E31. It looks just like this. We're going to mount this in its little case that it's going to go in. So for that, I need B18. Part of the fun of this is trying to figure out where these parts are. This is here. And once again, I'll sand off any burrs that I pull off of this. Now, if this is this way round, we're going to be having this going down here. Make sure the wire's behind, and that's going to fit into the cavity just there. I'm going to be putting some screws into here. Now, these screws are P5s, so look at the pack of stuff I've got. And these are tiny black screws here. And I've got my screwdriver. Just drive these in from this side. So 4 screws to put in here. Okay, when that's done, I want to get this wire, just thread it through the hole at the bottom there. So it comes out the other side, so now that's facing forward on this piece. Now I need 2 parts C7. This is the C plate here, so C7 is these 2 parts here. I need actually 2 each side, so I want to take 4 of these off. Butt them together so that they're 2 times thickness, and then these are going to go just into the slot on this side here. So when they're in, they look just like that. Do the same on the other side. You just want to make sure that they are square in there like that. Bring over the section that we've just been working on. And this is going to be going on top of this section here, just into the slots here and here on the other side. Get that in, 1 and 2. And then it's going to be screwed down with some P6 screws. Looking around for my bits and pieces, there's some P6. They look like this, and we need 4 of these. And that's going to hold this into position. Now, thinking of the wire tidy nice and early here, we're going to be taking this wire and putting it through the larger hole, just through the bottom here, and pulling that through. And then I'm going to be taking this other cable, which we got in here, which is labelled as P7. This is the LED, I'm guessing, for the sun. And that, we just want to ensure is coming through the bottom just here. I think what I'm going to do is just put some masking tape just on the bottom, just to keep these 2 leads into place. Because what actually happens, I just grab these leads again, is that they do link together. So if I plug this lead into this lead, just like that. Make sure it's in all the way and I'm not bending any wires. But in their picture there, they've got this going around sort of there. So that's probably where I'm just going to put some masking tape just to keep that into place. Now I need two other parts now, E23 and E24, to make the central spindle. And they are these absolutely massive parts just on the plate here. Get these out. Once again, make sure we've smoothed all the edges off here. And then quite simply, these two are just going to slip together like this. Push that all the way down because we want that flat at the end there. I'm going to use a little bit of concussive force. Perfect. And that's in place like that. And then we want to bring back over what we've just worked on here. This is actually going to go through the bottom, but I want to keep the wire going up one channel of this. So when I feed this up, this wire is going to stay in the channel so I can affix the light at the top. So I'm going to do this now. It's going to be a little bit tricky getting this all the way in, but just keep feeding it through all the way. Push that down there. Then I want the LED to be sitting just on top there, and the wire holding it in place there. Perfect. Now when I've got that in place, I'm just going to release the slack so that's tight on there, and I will just secure that down with a bit of masking tape underneath again. I am aware that I'm going to be putting some things down here, so I will take that off. It's only just so I can line up when I pull this so it's not going to move. Now this works from kinetic energy, so when I rotate the gear, the light should light, as you can see. I don't know if you can see actually. It's a bit bright, but trust me, the light is working. It's got to work on one of these. Try that one. There you go, as you can see. Bit blurry, and there it is again. Excellent. I've got one other piece now to put in, which is C15. That looks just like this. With the printed side facing me, that's just going to go into this side just here. Looking good already. I'm just going to put that to one side. I need two little brackets for the bottom. Now these are on the B plate, which I've got here, and they're called B9. Tiny things these are, look at that. And what these are used for is just to lock in the piece that we've just put in there. So again, on the close-up camera, you see we've got a hole in this side. These are just going to push through this side here, and that will stop them coming out. Get that all the way in, and do the same on the other side. So again, on the top camera, they should look like that. Put this whole massive section to one side. Bring up plate E7 and E8. That's these sections just here. Did I say E8? I meant E6. And then we need a part that's going to go between them so they're holding like that. That part is D8, looking like that. With the D facing upwards there, we're going to have, just checking what way round it's going, this one in this side, like that. And then this one here on this side here. So both of the blank sides of these pieces here should be facing the inside. Just put that to one side. I'm going to bring over two more sections that look just like this. Looks like we're making a bed. They're on this massive plate here. They're labelled F2 and F3. So they're over this side. But once again, we want the blank sides, these sides here, facing towards the inside. And basically this section we made earlier is just going to go into the slots at the bottom there. So on this side. And again, make sure the blank side's in the inside on the other side here. So that looks just like that. We should also make sure that these have got triangles on. So everything at this end, as you can see, has got triangles on. Everything at the opposite end here has got circles on. So that's how you know it's round the right way. Now with the triangles facing me, this way round, I'm going to bring over this massive section we worked on before. Get it round the right way. And this is now going to go into this whole base here. So I've got to feed them down the slots on each side. So I've got to line every single one of these up and get this pushed all the way down. Making sure it's sitting flush in there, which it is. So pretty much we've finished making the full base there. The next thing we're going to start doing is doing the gears for the planets. I got that wrong actually, we're not doing the gears, we're actually going to be doing the crank. That's actually going to rotate everything round. So what we need is this P8 screw. We need this plastic little handle. I'm going to lock that into place with a square screw here. So get that on. We want the flat side of this. There's one round side and one flat side. So I just need to flip this so that the flat side's facing towards the crank handle. This is going to go onto the printed side of E11. And then on the other side of this, we've got a lock nut, which is going to lock this into place. And all we need to do is tighten that up. I've got a little tool for that here. Just pick which side is the correct one. It's this one here. And tighten that up. Quite a number of things now to actually make this workable. So I'm going to lay them all out here and we'll get them together. Okay, I've laid all the pieces out here. This is going to be fun. Okay, so we've got this one here with the printed side facing outwards through this screw here. With these screws, once again, you can just line them up on the paper to confirm that you are using the right side, as you can see there. So that one's in there. And I'm going to be pushing 2 of these rods here, kind of like that. They're going to go in like that. So push this piece on with the rods like that. Then we put the crank on. So that's just going to slip into the holes, all 3 holes here we got. Once I've done this, it's going to steady everything up, I'm sure. There you go. Lovely. Then we've got 7 of these. These are B3s. Just going to get off any burrs we got there and thread all of these exactly the same way onto this. All 7 of them. And then the last one we've got is this plate here. That's going to form the back of that section. There we go. Full crank. While I've got that together, I am just going to sand around here to make sure that middle section is nice and smooth. Now that's sort of like part 1. We've got part 2 to go on the end here, so let me get all the bits out for that. Of course, I made a mistake. I couldn't find E26. I realised to put that at the start. It should have been E25 at the start, so I'm just putting that one on now. So I've got the correct disc in there. See, I make mistakes if you don't have to. For all intensive purposes, I may be filming this live. Okay, so I've laid everything out here, and we're just going to be putting all of these together just onto the end here. So first of all, B15. That one's on. Then B1. Perfect. Another B1. Perfect. Then E10. Just going to go through all of those together. On the other side here we got G17. That one's in. E26. Another gear. That one's in. G17. Making sure I push these as far as I can get them now, because I've got one more section to put on, which is this last bit, which is E27. And I'm going to hold that in place with a screw here, one of the square screws, and I'll screw it in just from the end on this side here. It's probably best to leave the last one off just while you're tightening it up and then put this last one in. There's nothing holding that in at the moment, just bear that in mind, so you don't want to lose that. But that's in place. What I want to do, because we've got some gears here, again, is just wax these teeth up. That brings me to the first plate. I need A5 off of this one. that's just this open section here. And basically we're just going to be hooking this section here just around the crank, so it's going to go into that section there, so we can actually spin this around to how we need it. Remember this bit, you don't want to lose that bit there at the back. So now that's just looking like that. Going to move on to actually brace this bit at the back in now, and for that we just need these two bits here, which are C6 and E4. So what we do is from the back section here, I'm going to be putting this section just over this, just like that, locking that off with this section E4 here. As a matter of fact, I'll have E4 facing down, and I'm lining up the holes here because we've got two screws. These are P6 screws going in to hold all of this into place. So that one's one. Make sure it's quite tight. As you can see, that's held everything together now, apart from that end there. And here's the second one. Perfect. So that should still be able to turn. As you can see, no problems at all. So I think we'll finish up by installing this onto the base, what we just had previously here. And to get this in, we just need to part these slightly like this, just to get the front one in. So I'm going to do that now. The front ones actually go in these two little slots that we can see at the side. So as you can see, when I crank it now, the light on the top lights up. Excellent. Once again, if you want to get this for yourself, I have put the link in the video description. Don't know how long this is going to take. I mean, I said it was 40 pages. We're 10 pages in. So I really do hope you like that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.